Good evening, dear parents. Thank you for joining us. It is an honor to have you here with us tonight. My name is Alejandra de la Torre, Family Engagement Program Manager. With us tonight, I have a group of experts from our Information and Technology Department who are graciously joining us tonight to provide us with information, with insight, with resources. And we also have Mr. Gil Diaz, who is our Director of Language Support Services, and Nereida Guerra, who is our Administrative Assistant and of such value to everything that we do. So I introduce Mr. Stephen Najetko, Mr. David Espinosa, Ms. Gracie Gutierrez, Ms. Melanie Valdez, who are joining us from Information and Technology. They will be participating as the meeting progresses. So I'm going to start sharing my screen with the presentation. That if you have a of the meetings, you know that I rely on presentations to guide the conversation and to provide you with visuals that enhance the experience for you. So here's our presentation. Just give it one moment. And okay, I guess I choose signs that are heavy for the machine. Okay. Okay, so here we are. October 10th to do a technology review and also provide you with best practices, with information and insight as to how our parent-teacher conferences will function this year of social distancing. I want to welcome you again and let you know that every meeting we plan is with you in mind, with content that is empowering and with content that supports you, so you can have enhanced abilities to be our best allies, extending the learning at home, particularly in this moment when a parent was telling me the other day that she feels as if the teacher is the architect and the parents are the construction workers, because you are the ones executing at home what the teachers have in mind for our students. So thank you for all your support and for trusting us with the education of your children. On the screen, you should see the agenda. We will first discuss, give you an overview of Chromebooks and hotspots, followed by an overview of our parent portal and why it's so very important that you have access to it and that you become very comfortable navigating that portal because it was created for you. We will then discuss parent-teacher conferences with contextualized recommendations for elementary and then for middle school and high school, which constitutes secondary. We will then look at the opportunity for you to ask further questions. And I also have a commercial break that I built in this presentation for you with special announcements. But see, please look at the quote on the screen. And I think it speaks, of course, to every day, every year, every moment. But in particular, this year when it's so peculiar and you have your child at home learning from home, it is such a crucial aspect of the success of your child that you were very proactive in reaching out to us and in making sure that we as a team do our best to support your child. Because like the quote says, at the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is the positive engagement of parents. And with that, I would like to go on to item number 1 in our agenda, which is Chromebooks and hotspots. And for that purpose, I would like to welcome our IT team, Steve and David. I guess you guys will be the ones presenting this segment, please.
Sure thing. Thank you, Alejandra.
Thank you.
Okay, so just to do a brief overview, as you know, many of your households have district issued Chromebooks, and they're vital tools that are used for instruction by the students, and they're crucial for engagement. Throughout the district, we utilize 3 different models of Chromebooks. There's a 3120, 3189, and the 3100. Functionally, they all basically function the same. There's some nuances with the layouts of some of the buttons and so forth, but from a functional standpoint, they all operate in the same way. So obviously, the students use the devices to access their email, student different educational platforms, and other services that are, as well as to access the meeting sessions with their teachers and for collaboration. At this moment, we have distributed greater than 15,000 Chromebooks to all the households throughout the district. And they're critical items that need to be used. In regards to the hotspots, there are 2 different models of hotspots that have been distributed. There's the CoolPad hotspot, as well as the Franklin T9 hotspot. The Franklin T9 hotspots that are being issued they have unlimited data on those devices. The CoolPad hotspots are the hotspots that have a 2 gig data limit on them. So if you're a household that does not have internet access, and the intention behind the hotspots is to provide internet access to households that do have that. If you have a CoolPad, would basically look something like this. So that has the data cap on it. The Franklins will have a different appearance, and they'll have a display on the bottom of it. So if you are a household that does not have internet access, you are eligible to ask for one of these hotspots. The key thing to remember with the hotspots is if you are a household when you have more than, let's say, 2 students who are in district and would need these hotspots, then you definitely want to ask for an additional hotspot for your environment. You can probably get by with 2 devices, but as soon as you start adding more than that to these hotspots, you'll probably notice a significant degradation in bandwidth. So that's something to be considered. Any connection on the hotspots are intended for use by these students for instructional purposes. So that's a key thing to remember. The Chromebooks, as well as anything connecting to the hotspot, is being filtered through our web filtering systems and monitoring that we have in place. So those are key elements to remember also. So with all this technology, if you do have any problems or you do have any issues, and I'm pretty sure many of you have already engaged with have engaged with us in various ways to seek support. But if you have any problems with devices or technology, first line of defense is reach out to the teacher and see if they can assist with any issues that come up. Outside of the teacher, if there's something that they can't resolve, then definitely you can reach out to the IT help desk on our website. You can also stop by your school during school hours for assistance or to coordinate a drop off or replacement device. And we also have a call center, a hotline number that you can call also that Alejandra can make available to you.
Thank you, Mr. Nadierko. And then may I ask Mr. Espinosa, at our meeting in the morning, we held it in Spanish for parents. I recall you shared some insights as to possible interactions with internet providers if the family is providing their own. Can you share those recommendations as well?
Absolutely. I've had parents call me regarding issues with connectivity while they're at home. They might be kicked out of meetings. They're limited as to what they can do. If their student is having issues with work while the teacher is presenting and possibly video streaming, or if there's a continuous disconnect from the network, then my recommendation to parents is to call their internet service provider and have their internet service provider come out and check the status of their equipment and possibly increase the bandwidth. A lot of times, depending on the service that you have, they will do this for free.
Correct. And can you also tell us about, because you have extensive experience at the school sites with parents who find their Chromebook to be malfunctioning, what would be the process? What are your recommendations in regards?
A lot of the issues that we run into, there's not actually anything wrong with the Chromebook. A lot of the times we have issues with not being able to hear audio in meetings, and with other issues. These are usually resolved by clearing the cache or by removing the account from the Chromebook and then re-adding the account. That solves probably about 95% of the issues that we have with Chromebooks. And there are how-tos on the district webpage. If you go to www.cjusd.net, and then under the Let's Go folder, you can go to information technology, and there's a frequently asked question page there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I believe that covers pretty much everything, right? We just want to reassure parents that should they experience any needs for adjustment, we're here for them as a team. We want to make sure that their children have the opportunity to continue to learn and to feel motivated to engage with teachers in those sessions that they offer. And I see that Mr. Diaz included in the chat the helpline to our information technology department. It's 580-5038. Please be mindful that when you reach out to me, it is because you have made an attempt to solve the matter directly with the child's teacher. We should be your additional resource once you have attempted to resolve the matter at the school site. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Diaz, Mr. Espinosa, Mr. Najetko. We go then to our number 2 item in the agenda, and that is the parent portal. And why are we so making such emphasis in ensuring that ideally all that our parents have access to this parent portal is because it is a one-stop platform or source of information for our parents. And for that, I would like to welcome Mrs. Gutierrez and Ms. Valdez. Please feel free. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so then they can be sharing their screen as well. So give me 1 second. Okay. Who will be speaking, Ms. Gutierrez?
Yes, I still can't share my screen though. It's still...
I gave it to you. Please give it 1 moment. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
We do it again. Hopefully now. Okay. Okay. Thank you, technology, for working.
Hello, everybody. What I want to share with you is how to get to the parent portal and what information you get from it. So your first step to get to it is if you log on to the district website, which is cjusd.net. It'll take you to our district website. And here you have, of course, a lot of information. And if you currently do not have an account with us, we strongly encourage you to scroll down on the website and go down to where it says Parent Portal Sign Up. You hover over the Parent Portal, you're going to get that link. You click on it and you fill out this form. This form goes to the Information Technology Department. It asks all your different information of your student, your information. We just want to make sure it is your child. and we want for security purposes. Once this is done, our department will send you an email with your PIN and temporary password. So once you have that, you go back to the district website, and on your right-hand side, you see a queue that says, and it'll open up where it says Q portals. You click on that, and it gives you two different portals. One is a student portal, which is where your child logs into. The second one is a parent portal, which would be where you'll be logging into. You want to click on here, and here is where you enter your parent ID. A lot of people make the mistake of wanting to enter their email. It is not your email address. This is your personal identification number that we provide you and your password. I'm going to go to so I've already logged in because this is a training database. So I've already done this ahead of time to save us some time. When you log in, if you have more than one student, you'll see them listed on the top, and you'll see the plus signs. This will open up each student, and you can select on whatever student you want to go to. So this one is just one student. From here, you have all these different applications on the left that gives you different information. The first one is assignments. Assignments is really important for you because you want to know how your student is doing. You want to make sure they turn everything in. And you can see what scores they got compared to how many points possible. So if looking at this one here, you can see that there's all these assignments that have no score. If you look over to the right-hand side, you can see there's a check mark under not graded. So that's not affecting their grade yet. Then if you go down to, let's say the ones that have, let's look for one who has a 0 on it. Okay, there isn't any on this one here. So you can see some that will have points possible and their score, if it's 0, that means they didn't turn it in. So that's something you really want to be, looking over so you can let your child know, you need to get on this. It'll tell you what grade they have in their class according to their assignments and what percentage. The next one is behavior. If they've had any behavior issues, you'll be able to see, not detailed, but you can see some information. This one doesn't have any data available, but you can see what's going on with your student if they had any behavior issues. Then so on, you have contacts, which will let you know who you have set up for emergency purposes. So the primary contacts, of course, is your information. It'll be your name, your relationship, and your phone numbers. If you see the phone numbers are listed wrong, you want to contact the school, update your emergency card so they can update your information. If it's just a typo, you can just call them and let them know. If it's a completely different number, you need to update your emergency card. But this is a good place for you. This is where you need to go in and make sure everything's going good. If you have students in high school, especially seniors who are getting ready for college, you'll see a tab that says GPA. This is information you'll need for if you're applying for scholarships, any grants, anything like that. They're going to be asking you for GPA. This is a good place to go to get this information for them. If you need a transcript printed for them, if it's not official, but you can print it for them, you can click on transcript, and it gives you all their transcript info. Then if you click on print info, a lot of times for scholarships, you also need this transcript. I'm going to bring it over. This is giving me the profile. I apologize. I'm going to close everything off. Normally, only what is open is what will print. So if you see a minus sign, let me try it again. So fortunately, it doesn't give official transcript, but it does give you all the classes they have taken. And some people will accept this. If they don't, you can contact your school. But this isn't a transcript information also. There's other things such as your schedule, current marks. If you click on marks, this is a good place, especially right now, since they're not in school and things are taking a little longer. So approximately 3 to 4 days after the grades get posted by the teachers, you will have a link next to where it says quarter one progress. It'll be here in the middle. You can click on it and get a copy of that report card. So a lot of times students try to manipulate them, try to change them. You can get an exact copy of what was mailed home just by clicking here. So that's one difference of logging into your students portal, because they don't have all this information, and logging into your own. And in the near future, you're also going to be able to update your emergency card information. We're not there yet, but we're looking into it. So we're hoping, we have everybody with an account so they can do this once it's available to us. There's also under school links, a data for school funding. If you have not filled out this application, it is part of our free lunch program. So right now, all our districts are entitled to free lunch because of the SEP program. But the more applications that are received, the better it is for our district, the more money we can get for them. And it'll keep everybody getting free lunch. So we strongly encourage you, even if you know you're not going to qualify for free lunch, or you don't qualify, just fill it out. It won't affect you either way, but it will help out your school. And that pretty much summarizes what's in here. Anything else you guys can think of? Ms. De La Torre, any other comments that you want to share on that?
Ms. Gutierrez, can you please clarify, because we have experienced this, parents, IT will automatically send you a receipt of your request to get access to the parent portal. And so then expect a consequent email where you get your PIN, your parent ID number, and that is the one that you enter. Initially, you get a temporary password, the type of password that is not easy for you to remember, but that will give you the initial access. And then the system will prompt you to generate your own password that is easy for you to remember. We have had parents who have more than one email account, and it goes to the account that they're not checking. And so they email me, or they email Ms. Gutierrez or the teachers, and they're saying, I'm not getting anything, and I submitted my request for access to the parent portal. So if you have more than one email account, we will email you such information to the account that is registered in our system. And so that's something important to keep in mind. Anything else? I cannot think of anything else. I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we want to really encourage you parents to visit this portal often, to with an approach of support to your child, to know how well they are doing, and if they're not doing that well, then approach it as a conversation to support their success, and to say, let's check together. And you're doing well here. What can we do in this other subject so that you do as well? And we know children have subjects of their preference and others where there's more challenge for them. But it's important that we don't use this means to punish the child, or to not affirm the student. We want this to be a tool that you use to be effective associates with us, to make sure that we take the necessary steps to support the success of students. Yeah, okay. So let's proceed. Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez, Ms. Valdez, and I'm sharing my screen again, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes? Okay, so the next on RIG teacher conferences. And I have some content from a presentation that I did last year, but given this very peculiar school year, there's adjustments that we have had to make in order to make this period of meeting with teachers one that is relevant and that has a positive impact. So we want to suggest to you what you see on the screen. Prepare before the conference. Very important. Please remember that we're discussing your child, and it's important that the student feels affirmed, and that you let them know that your meeting with their teacher is because the two of you together, or for secondary, the team of teachers and you want to be supportive of their success. And also treat the child as the main character that they are in this interaction, because if there's something that the student wants to share with the teacher, they're a minor, and one of your roles as a parent is to advocate for them and to support them and be the spokesperson, depending on the age of the student, before the educator. So it's important that if the child wants to share something with the teacher, that they communicate that to you and that you address it with the educator. We strongly suggest that you make a list of things that you want to make sure that are part of the conversation. I think it's happened to many of us. You go to the doctor, and when you leave, you wait for the doctor patiently. They come in, they step out, the consultation is over, and then you think, oh, I forgot to tell them, and you have a list of things that you wanted to bring up to the conversation and you didn't. So making a list ensures that you will address the topics that you want to make sure that are discussed during this interaction. On the right side of the screen, you see some possible questions for the teacher. And if it's important that when there's a need for adjustment, that you make sure that you are proactive and you ask that teacher to please give you another conference date to follow up. That was before the conference. Now, during the conference, this time around, we won't be seeing parents at the school sites. Our meetings will be with parents on a virtual mode as we have been functioning, and they will be either done through WebEx or through Google Meet. We want you to plan ahead if necessary. If you are unfamiliar with connecting, if you want to make sure that you have the space, the silence, the moment to be focused on the conversation, I think that's part of the planning ahead. Also, we suggest to you, because due to this contingency period, the time that teachers have to meet with parents is limited. So we want you to be very concise, to go to the point, but at the same time to be yourself and to relax. And if you get fantastic news, that's wonderful. If the news you get from the teacher are underwhelming to you or are of a nature that is not ideal to your ability to remain calm, please, we ask you remain calm and have a proactive, positive approach. If you get bad news, then we need to discuss adjustments. We need to make sure that as a team, you think of, okay, what is the teacher going to do moving forward? What is the student? What are the expectations for students? And what will be expectations for parents to, as a team, make sure that the situation changes and that there's improvement. We also suggest that you establish priority in your topics. And if your child receives any type of special services, in the past, we could have said special programs. We are not implementing much of that. But when we talk about special services, if your child receives special education services or supports, or if your child is an English learner, you want to make sure that you bring that item into the conversation. Also, during the conversation, we have additional ideas for you on the screen. Make sure that you have a clear understanding as to what is expected of your child by the end of the year. And if there's something that the educator is sharing with you that you don't quite understand, don't be shy. In education, we have our own language. It's this very complex lingo where we speak with acronyms. We have LPAC, LP, SST, SPEDed. We have countless acronyms, and we sometimes forget that when we are in conversation with parents, that you may not understand that. So please don't be shy and say, well, what do you mean by that? Can you explain that to me? And also be proactive and ask the teacher, can you give me ideas? How can I support this at home? And if after the conversation, you know that it's necessary to meet again, then ask for that meeting to be scheduled and make sure that there's follow through. Another consideration is that due to the restriction in time and also to cultural differences, that we are mindful of two different types of communication. One is low context, the other one is high context. If you are from a background of collectivist cultures such as Hispanics, Asians, other countries, we are very high context in our communication. If you get company in the times when it's allowed, and someone comes in and you're Mexican, for example, and they tell you, "Oh, it's so hot outside," what they're really saying is, "Please give me some water." They're not saying, "Can I have some water, please?" They're gonna allude to that, so you have that idea of offering that. We cannot do that in cultures where the preferred means of communication, the preferred style is going straight to the point. So I suggest strongly that you go to low context, that you go to the point, and you don't leave things to the imagination of the educator to maintain their attention. Now, following up after the conference, please sit down with your child alone, especially if you have siblings, if you have other people living at the home. It's important to respect the individuality of the student. Whether they're doing a wonderful job or not, it's important to reserve that time with that child. You, the parents, and the child, talking about the conference, addressing what was positive and what may need a change, being respectful and direct with the student, treating them like the human being they are, and also the main characters of this interaction. And also communicate clearly to your child what is the plan of action for you and the teacher and for them. If the child is doing well, applauding them and reassuring them that we're doing well and that we are going to continue to do well, and making emphasis in maintaining that back and forth communication with their teacher. There's two types of conferences, in my opinion. One is the one that takes place and that's it. It's just a checkoff. The teacher keeps a list of what parents showed up, and the parent signs, and that is it. Nothing happens. It was just this exchange of information. But it's important that the parent-teacher conference has results that are beneficial for the student, the main character of the interaction. So when you interact with educators, talk about things that you know, or ask about things you want to know, and establish a relationship that's based on the common goal that both of you have. You want the success of your child, the well-being of your child, as does the teacher. And then understand how your child is doing in school. We may give you scores, we may give you levels, but what do those mean? It's important to ask and focus on the child as a whole. The child has a physical health, a mental health, academic support, academic needs, academic success. So it's important to look at each student as an individual with different needs. Now, thinking of elementary parent-teacher conferences, you see the dates on the screen, and it'll be the week of the 12th through the 16th. And on the screen, you see particular considerations for this moment in time when we ask you, if you have this fluid communication with the teacher, and you know that your child is performing well, performing to their potential, about to reach their highest potential, we would like to ask respectfully, of course, with you making the final decision, that you can postpone scheduling a date, a meeting date with the teachers at a later time after the parent-teacher conferences. We would like to make sure that we focus on having conversations with parents of children who are yet to perform at their highest potential. So because of the time restrictions, that is a consideration we would like you to consider. It's not something that we want to impose on anyone, but we want you to know that the time is restricted from 1:45 to 3:15. And in the future, there will be opportunity for you to discuss the success of your child, any plans for enhancement or for more challenging activities for your student. And because teachers are given a prep period during which they can certainly schedule parent-teacher conferences outside of this expected week of parent-teacher conferences. On the right of the screen, on the right side of the screen, you see a bookmark that I designed and distributed last year. This time around, do that, but it includes recommendations that are important to keep in mind as these conversations take place. And then following up with middle school and high school considerations, we want to let you know that your middle school may be meeting the week of the 12th to the 16th or the week of the 19th through the 23rd. Your middle school principals and your teachers will be letting you know what week they will be meeting. And you also know that you can meet with teachers at any other given time whenever is necessary. And this applies to elementary, middle, and high school in support of the student. The times for middle school vary by site, but these are the more general timeframes that are consideration for parents to receive these invitations. What I understand that will happen is that you will get a link to the teacher's classroom, virtual classroom, and this will be WebEx or Google Meet. And it's important that you are aware that when you arrive at that virtual meeting, that you may be asked to wait at the lobby. It's a virtual waiting room where you pause for a moment until the teacher finalizes the conversation with the other parent that's already in that room with the teacher. For privacy considerations, we only will have individual meetings with parents and teachers, and for that reason, we ask of your patience and know that you may be expected a couple minutes before they wrap up the conversation with the previous parent. Also, parents whose child is yet to reach their highest potential will very likely be receiving an invitation from certain teachers, because we want to make sure that we reach out to you to have those very important conversations in support of the success of your child. Okay. So progress reports are due on October the 10th. This is a very important period in time because it's half of the semester, it's the quarter. And the grades that you will see or you receive in your report by mail will be temporary. They're not permanent grades. And that's one of the reasons why we want to meet with you now. Because if everything's going well, then let's continue to function as we are. But if there's need for adjustment to support better performance of your child, then we are still in time to make those adjustments. We will be mailing those out on Monday and Tuesday, and you will receive them by mail. Nevertheless, if they disappear for whatever reason, because this is middle school and high school, you can reach out to your teacher if your child is in elementary school, or for your counselor if they're in middle school, and ask that we email that progress report to you for immediate access. As soon as it's sent out to you, you can look at it and determine who do you need to absolutely speak with, or if you can, for this time around, pass on the opportunity to have a parent-teacher conference with your teachers and maybe schedule for a later date. We also remind you to wait in the lobby, in the virtual lobby, and make sure that we continue to work together. Now, this is applicable for some of our families. If they speak a language, if their primary language is one that's other than English, and you need an interpreter, make sure that you make the teacher aware or the teachers aware, and you ask them to please provide an interpreter. Our language support services department under Mr. Diaz, who is here at the meeting, provides our school sites with a service called Language Line. When the educators need to communicate with the family who speaks Russian, Urdu, Tagalog, other languages. We have so many languages in our district that are spoken by our families. It's a rich linguistic environment. We want to be sure that we communicate with you as well. And so in such cases, once you make the teachers aware, you may be receiving a call from a number that's unfamiliar to you. We ask that you please pick up, because it's very likely that interpreter from Language Line who will serve as the bridge, the communication bridge between you and the teacher. Now, thinking of parent-teacher conferences for high school. High school does not have a set date for parent-teacher conferences, a set week for parent-teacher conferences. When students are in high school, the conferences can be held because the teacher is reaching out to the parents, or because the parents are requesting to meet with the teacher or the team of teachers that serve their student. And so at the high school level, parents can directly email that teacher or teachers and ask to have those very important conversations. As some of those conversations often include the child's counselor. The academic counselor can play a key role in supporting those conversations and in supporting the student and the family as necessary. So please don't be shy to reach out to high school. I know this is a very important moment in terms of school calendar, because we can still make adjustments and see what we do as a team to promote the success of our students. And then we have a commercial break here. So I wanted to make you aware of our upcoming parent meetings, and also let you know that our meetings are recorded. And I'm going to make the presentation to show you. If you go to our website, I don't know why this is. Okay, so if you go to our website, www.cjrizzi.net, and I want to thank Ms. Valdez because she does this for me. You come here, and this is where we deposit and publish the recordings for all of our meetings. And as you can see, Ms. Valdez and I were discussing how can we make it easier for parents to decide which one they want to review or to recommend to other families for reference. So as you can tell, we have had a series of meetings, and if you click link, it takes you to the spot where you can see the recordings of the meetings. And this is something you can share with family and with friends. They have students enrolled in our district. This is something that can be of value to our families. And so we just wanted to make you aware of that. Should you need to come back to this meeting and see the recording and review what was presented, what was discussed, I think it's important that we provide this to you. On the 14th, which is next week, we are having a brief meeting. It won't be lengthy like this one. It'll be 30 minutes or less. We're going to discuss with you the homework helpline. It is something that we are very excited to offer to all of our families in an effort to support learning continuity. We also have on the 20th our DPAC meeting, and also on the 28th, our DLAC meetings, and I'm speaking that language that I'm referring to with a lot of acronyms. And so we hope to see you there. I will be sure to be sending the notices. I have made a very strong decision to avoid calling you as much as possible, because it just so happens that many of us at district level are also getting the numerous phone calls that our school sites are sending to you. So I know it can be exhausting, but I also know that we send every message mindful of our intention to make sure that you are in the knowing and that we are on the same page. So for that reason, I sent email, text, and through the app this particular announcement for the meeting, and I send you reminders. But I hesitate to send the phone call because I know that you receive so many. But please know that your presence at our meetings is always welcome. It's always an honor to serve you, and we are in this together. We just want to be sure that you know that we appreciate your time and your interest. And with that, I would like to then
Ale, may I interrupt for a moment, please?
of course, absolutely.
Hi, all. This is Mr. Diaz. So I just wanted to remind all of you, that's why it's very important that your contact information that you have provided to your school for your students is updated. That means your email address, your cell phone number, if that's something you wish to give to us, because what Ms. De La Torre is referring to is the way we contact you, which is through a system that we call Q Communicate. And if we do not have the appropriate or the correct information, you will not be getting the information that we're sending out. So please make sure that all of your information is updated and correct.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Now, I would like to then ask the team if there's any questions that we respond to, if there are any additional comments, if parents are raising their hands. I don't know.
Ale, did we cover anything on the homework helpline?
No, I just announced that we're meeting on the 14th, and I will be sending out the invite. I can share it on the screen, though.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that, number one, parents knew that the homework helpline is available for your students to call into. I do want to remind all of you that the homework helpline is not a tutoring line. It is really a system that's there to help students with their assignments, guiding questions, following any kind of steps within the homework process. So it's really not intended for tutoring. It's simply for homework assistance. And as you can see, Ale, if you can remind me, please, of the times that the homework helpline is available for elementary, middle, and high school students.
Okay.
I believe it's 4 to 6, 6 to 8.
And well, I'll have it on the screen in a moment, but this is the announcement that I have already scheduled. Every family will be receiving it. And as we have been doing, we will hold a meeting in the morning in Spanish and a meeting in the evening for English. Let me think, what was the last meeting where we discussed the times? Moment.
Ale, it's actually on our website if you want to take us to that link.
Okay. And I know it's here somewhere, right?
Yes, go ahead and click there.
Of the
So it's actually now on that main where the items scroll. It'll actually appear there. You'll see it. It'll show up. And it'll show up in a moment. No, stay at the top, please.
it's the screen, right?
Yes.
Here she is. Beautiful.
There it is. So there's one piece. And then if you click on, there it is. Thank you. If you can walk us through that, please.
Okay, sure. So this is the information for our homework hotline, and we're very proud and excited to offer this service. As you can see, if our students are in elementary school, they will be reached out to or given a ticket to have access to a certified teacher to support them with homework completion from 4 to 6 p.m. And then for middle school students, it's 5 to 7 p.m. And for high school students, it's from 6 to 8 p.m. And so if you click on this on this form, because we want to make sure that we pair you up with a teacher who has that level of expertise required for the need of your child, then we will ask you what grade level if this is a student, and we also ask you, would you rather receive the help in Spanish? I know many parents have reached out saying that they need a teacher who speaks Spanish, because at this point they still need those scaffolds and that level of support. So then we go to next, and we ask you, what subject matter is this related to, this homework that you need help with? So we say science, and then we submit. What this triggers is that you get an email with the homework team acknowledging request for help. And then you receive a subsequent schedule time to meet with someone who can provide you with that help.
Actually,
And
Alex, if I may, what they receive when they submit the form, they'll receive an actual email with a WebEx link attached to it for the student to then click on to then join the teacher for their homework help.
Yes. And then it's also important to acknowledge that when you request support with homework, please be mindful of this time frame between 3 p.m. and 7:45 p.m. I know we've had families who want to get help at 10 p.m. We apologize, but it's so late in the day, and our teachers, as you will understand, because you also need that level of rest, our teachers are not able to fulfill this sort of support at that time of the day. But we are very happy to help, and you can request that support as early as 3 p.m., knowing that we start at 4 p.m. Regardless of the grade level of your child, you can submit it that early, and be sure that you have access to these teachers who have made themselves available to help our students. Also, if you know families who need support in Spanish, we also have all the information in Spanish. You can see it on the screen, and the form is in Spanish. So we want to be sure that all our students, regardless of their linguistic differences with the main language that is spoken in the country, which is English, of course, also have that level of support. So please be sure to use this resource. It is there for you. I know under Common Core state standards, which have been implemented for a while, but nevertheless, they're different from the way that we learned when we were children. And so we need certainly that level of support from our teachers, and here it is for you. And that will be part of the conversation at our meeting on the 14th. Does that suffice, Mr. Diaz?
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, so let me go back here. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen unless there's anything else that I need to share. Can you?
So I'm sorry, before we go on, I see there was a question from a parent who has submitted the form, but for some reason has not gotten a response. So we will make sure that we follow up. I'm just trying to read the comments here. So I'm trying to figure out how we can address that. Mr. Espinosa, I know that you said that you responded, submitting the form for district. Okay, yeah, that's a good point, David. Do you want to bring that up, because it may have actually gone to spam?
Oh.
My reply was to have the student, when the student is accessing that form, to please make sure that she's accessing that form while logged on with her district email address, and also make sure to check the spam folder. Sometimes these replies get caught up and they end up in spam. If you are in the student's Gmail account and you don't see the spam folder on the left-hand side of your screen, you can scroll down to where it says more. And then once you click on more, you'll be able to see the spam folder.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Espinosa. That's important to know. So parents expect, and this is yet another reason why it's so important that we are mindful of keeping a close eye in our email inboxes. The one for your child that's issued by the district, because teachers, the homework helpline, all sorts of information and communication will arrive in that inbox, but also your own, if that is the one that we have in the system for you. And Mr. Espinosa, you have something to add?
Yes, Alejandra, I do. This is also where you may receive communication from your site technical support specialist. I've had some work orders submitted for by students or for students, and I make sure to CC the students in those correspondence. And very frequently, I do not receive responses from those students. So it is important that they check their email, and also if they see an email in there, that they reply to it, because that's how we're communicating with them a lot of times.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anything else that we may see on the chat that needs addressing? I'm checking for parents if they have their hand up, but I don't see any. Anything else that we need to address? And I know it's 5:57. It's a long day for the team, but we're glad to be here. Nere, Ms. Guerra, anything that we have not?
No, nothing pending, Ale.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to say one more thing, and Gracie, thank you for responding as well. There was a question in regards to the parent portal, and what we're asking parents to do is to please contact your school, and they'll be able to provide you with that PIN number that is required in order for you to enter the parent portal. So again, if you have submitted the form and have not gotten your PIN, please contact your school, and they can provide your PIN number. But other than that, Ms. De La Torre, I think there were no other questions.
Okay. Okay, well, wonderful. I think we can then start the process of adjourning. I would like to thank, and I'm going to name you according to the order in which I see you on the screen. Mr. Diaz, thank you. Ms. Guerra, Mr. Espinosa, Ms. Gutierrez, Ms. Valdez, Mr. Nadjetko. We want to thank you for supporting this meeting. We as a team are very intentional in making sure that our parents know that they can count on us for support, and that we're doing our very best to meet the needs of every child in our district. So with that, we invite you to come back to our meetings. As we previously stated, it is recorded and it will be posted for your reference. If you know parents who would have loved to hear some of the information that we presented, please point them in the direction of our meetings. And we hope to see you at our next week's meeting. I know ideally we would like to give you a year of calendared meeting dates. We only have our Parent Advisory Committee dates scheduled since the beginning of the year. Other meetings take shape and are scheduled by virtue of our knowledge that this is information that we want to provide to you based on the timing of the school year and based on what is going on. So we thank you for being here. We give you notice that it's not since the beginning of the year, but you can be assured that every meeting that we offer to you, it has content that we believe is relevant to you and that is guided by your input. When you ask questions, when you reach out by email, that is certainly insight that we welcome and that enriches the interactions that we have with you. Anything else, Mr. Diaz?
Not at all. We want to thank you, Ms. De La Torre, for all your help with our parents. And again, thanking this incredible team that's here, because without you guys, we would not be able to do this. So thank you. And I hope, parents, this was informative. Thank you for your patience. This is something that we're all learning ourselves. And again, please stay safe, and we'll be in touch soon. Again, have a good evening, all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.